So here's what I would fix if your business, if you hired me today. So let's say you're doing 10, 15, 30K per month. The money's coming in, but it's a little bit messy. I mean, at that point, very often what I see is that founders are like on this kind of fence, if you will, when it comes to doing a little bit of their own delivery. Also, maybe you have a team, and if you have a team, it's not structured, it's not kind of very efficient. There's a lot of drama, there's a lot of inefficiency, there's a lot of putting down fires. So there's a lot of chaos, a lot of issues. It's just like not smooth. You wake up and like, oh my gosh, I need to do this again, right? So the money is kind of good, but at the same time, you feel like your business is a little bit messy, and that you feel like you work too hard for the money that is coming in, and like maybe profits are not where they're supposed to be, because you spend money on like hiring and training and all that stuff, and you need to fix after the delivery of your team. So it's just not what you thought it would be. And then there's this thought in your head that maybe it was better when you were just freelancing. Maybe it was better when you were just doing this by yourself on your own, because you were in full control and the money was the same. If you think about profitability, you hired all these people, you have all these tools and everything else, and yet like somehow it feels very messy, right? So you have a lot of custom projects, you have a lot of clients messaging you at 9 p.m. whatever. You allowed your clients maybe cross the boundaries because you want to deliver the results, and so your kind of current success is a little bit like being changed to your calendar, changed to your desk. And even though outside you might say, hey, I'm doing great, I have a team and I can travel, and yeah, but whenever you travel, you take your computer with you and you have to work and get on the client call and stuff like that, right? So a lot of agency owners think that to fix this, they need more leads. So like if they get more clients, they will be able to hire and fix all the problems. But actually, that's not true, because that's just gonna intensify the issues, right? So if I walked into your business today, here are the three things that I would probably fix first, before even looking at your marketing side, sales and prospecting and whatever. So number one, I would raise your price or narrow your scope, as in like, because you're currently over delivering for underwhelming clients. So, and I'm sure you can resonate with over delivery and how you always are there for clients and they praise you for, going above and beyond, but you're over delivering for underwhelming clients, and that is a problem. So we need to fix that by raising prices, and that will automatically weed out the clients that are not a good fit. Or we keep the price, but we narrow the scope. So basically we niche down on what we do and how we do things, right? Now, when it comes to raising prices, I very often do this exercise with my clients where I will tell them to double their price, obviously within the reason. I mean, that's an average. If you're charging 20K, very often you can't charge all of a sudden, 40. But if you're charging 2,000 for a service and that's underpriced and undervalued, then charging 4K is absolutely a way to go. And the success rate on that is very, very high. It's like in the 70-80% range. And when I say success rate, meaning you increase your price and that price sticks, meaning your clients aren't necessarily leaving your business, and you are able to land new clients at this higher price. And so recently I was working with a client and I was helping him productize his work as an IT slash SEO consultant. And I told him, listen, he had 9 clients. So I told him, listen, why don't you increase the prices, just double the price? And he said he was very reluctant to do it. So I told him, listen, so because his argument was, if I increase the price, I will lose clients and I will not be able to land new ones. So what has happened is that he was very reluctant, and I said, listen, if you lose any clients, I will refund you for the 3 months of the lost revenue. Basically, I will pay for the lost business. I was so confident that this can work. And so what happened is yes, he lost 3 clients, but the remaining 6 clients, he doubled the price with no, detailed explanation to the client. There was no negotiation, nothing like that. And so in the end, he was way better off with the 6 clients, paying double and the 3 clients leaving, because from 2 perspectives. One is obviously you make more money, and number 2, you have less work to deliver for more money. So that was an amazing result. And what was kind of funny, and that's pretty common, is that the lowest paying client actually left. So the ones that were bleeding money, the ones that were like, the most needy ones. And we know that very often, not very often, always, the clients that are on the kind of lower end of the payment spectrum, those are the ones that are the most needy. Those are the ones that will message you at 9 p.m. Those are the ones that need something right now or yesterday. Those are the ones that are most painful to work with. And these were the ones for this particular client who were like, no, we're not going to pay you double the price. But the other ones who were completely fine to work with, they agreed with raising the price. So that would be number one, thing number one that I would do: raise the price or narrow the scope. And narrowing the scope is just basically means that you have to be more structured, more focused on what you deliver and how you deliver it. So in terms of like productizing how you do things. So that's number one. Number 2, I would standardize your offer. So if everything you do is custom, your delivery will always be a bottleneck. Like if you have to come up with ideas on what to do and how to deliver and what is the result for this client, and just sit down with the team and do a kickoff call and onboarding and all that stuff, and everything is custom, like bespoke, basically project for them as in the clients, then that is a massive, massive bottleneck when it comes to scaling, when it comes to profitability, when it comes to efficiency, obviously. And so standardizing your offer, and that goes a little bit to the previous point as well when I said you narrow your scope. When you narrow your scope, you also can standardize how you deliver things, right? So that goes hand in hand with productizing. So what it means in practicality is that you basically have the same scope for every single client, and you deliver that in the same way, and you follow the same framework, the same methodology, the same approach, the same process, the same procedure. And so if you have the team, then everyone knows exactly what to do and when. And so project management becomes this very easy, process. Delivery is smooth. Everyone knows what they're doing and when. And on the flip side, your clients are getting repeatable results as well, because you no longer do things randomly and like, oh, let's see if this works for this client. You have your own path, your own methodology, your own framework, your own approach, your own system, your own point of view, like all these other things, your own angle, how you do things. And because it's so dialed in that it's kind of like a cookie cutter approach where you will get results for the clients if you follow the process. But if you do custom stuff every single time, you're basically flipping a coin to see like, well, let's see if that's going to work for this client, if this approach will work for this client. Now, obviously, there's a level of customization in every business, and there's a level of conversations to be had with a client on how to deliver things. And obviously, each client is different, and each brand is different, and you can deliver based on the assets you're getting from the clients and stuff like that. That obviously is not going away. What is going away is the confusion on how we do things and what we do, what we sell, how we deliver. Speaking of selling, this is also very useful when it comes to selling, because if you have a standardized offer, standardized approach, then your marketing is easier. Your sales is easier because you deliver a very specific outcome to a very specific client, fixing a very specific problem in a very specific time frame for a very specific price. And so it's so much easier to communicate that versus, we'll do everything that needs to happen for you to get whatever you want. Like, it's just so different and so much more clear, both on marketing and sales side, but also on the receiving end when it comes to the client and what clients see and how easy it is to say yes to what you deliver or what you have to offer, right? And just remember, one thing when it comes to sales is that confused mind doesn't buy. And so if you are clear on what you deliver and what the kind of parameters are, then it's so much easier for the client to say yes or no, which is a good thing, right? Because you don't want a maybe. Maybe is the worst answer or worst response in sales. So that's number 2, right? So number 1 was raise your prices or narrow your scope. Both can be done as well. Number 2 is standardizing your offer. And number 3, it's, I would get, a very specific, delivery system on how you deliver things, right? Again, it goes back to standardization of the offer itself, but like also knowing exactly how we deliver every single time, automating as much as you can, following the DAD or DAD formula, which is delete, automate, delegate. So basically looking at what you do in your business and what you do in those processes to deliver for clients, right? So we're listing all the tasks that we always have when it comes to delivery, and we run them through the DAD formula. First run is, can we delete something from this list? If we can delete something from the list, then the question is, can I delete this and will I still have the same result, or will I still be able to deliver the same results for the client? And will my business still exist and thrive? If the answer is yes, then why are you doing this thing? Delete that. Because if you have items or elements or tasks in your business, in your processes that do not have to be there, like what is the point of having them, right? So that's pass number 1. Then your list of tasks all of a sudden becomes 10-20% smaller. Then the next step, the next pass is to see, like, out of those that are left, what can we automate? And in the era of AI tools and automations and whatever, like, it's just there's so many candidates to automate, for automation, and so many things you can actually automate, that you have to, it will be just silly not to automate things. And so again, our list of tasks that all of a sudden, that we need to deliver, shrinks again because we deleted some. We are now automating some of those. And the last pass is, what can we delegate to someone who is either better suited or cheaper to actually deliver that task, right? So you as the founder, if you're at that, at least 10K per month stage, you want to make sure that if you have a team, you're removing as much of your plate as possible. Because if you have something on your plate, then that means you have to deliver those things, and that means you cannot work on the business, you're working in the business. Now, a bunch of you will say, well, yeah, but I'm the expert in design, I'm the expert, I'm the one who is supposed to do those things. Well, if that is your role, if that is your, like, yes, I'm the owner of the business, but I'm also a chief designer and other people are helping me with other things, that's completely fine. Obviously, don't remove your core role from the business, but most of you should remove yourself from actually delivery, right? The moment you have delivery on your plate, you're screwed. This doesn't mean you cannot step in and help your team deliver, in situations that are like, someone is sick or we have a big project and we need more hands on deck and stuff like that. That's completely fine. But as a rule of thumb, you shouldn't be the one who's delivering the work. You should be the one who's managing the team and who's managing the business and who's actually working on the business, meaning, setting up the processes, hiring people, and mainly doing marketing and sales. So those would be the main things that I would focus on. So raising prices and narrowing scope, standardizing your offer, and then getting that delivery system in place. I follow a 5-step delivery system, but that's for another episode. The truth is that most companies don't really need more work. Like, you don't need more work, you don't need more leads. You need better boundaries. You need better operations, cleaner operations. You need, higher margin clients coming in. So instead of having low-paying clients, 5 low-paying clients, obviously it's better to have 5 high-paying clients. And that starts with, how you position yourself to attract them. But also there's a lot of space or room to make your business more efficient, because there's three main kind of dials you can turn when it comes to profitability. One is raising prices, as discussed. Number two is lowering your cost. So if you can delete those tasks from the list, then you will automatically lower the cost of your business, because potentially you don't have to hire someone to do those tasks, right? So deleting and automating tasks will lower your costs. But the biggest needle mover will be in the efficiencies kind of zone, right? So if you can be, let's say, an example that I always use and something that's actually very, very impactful is where when you're in the onboarding process, and let's say it takes you, usually 4 to 6 weeks to onboard a client. And by onboarding, I mean, getting them all the assets, getting them all the access to your systems, whatever, getting assets from them, understanding their brand, having a kickoff call, and all these other things, so that you can actually start delivering your process, your results or services. It takes 4 to 6 weeks to do that, and then typically, now in that time frame, if you calculate how much time it took you to deliver all that, you will see that this process is so labor intensive and so custom that you're actually not making any money at that time. If you calculate the time spent, multiply time spent by your hourly rate, you will see that the client actually didn't pay you enough for the first month. You might be actually losing money, right? So using this example, now if we can decrease that time frame of onboarding a client from 6 weeks or 4 weeks to 2 weeks or 3 weeks, all of a sudden, all other things being equal, with the same team, same process and everything else, you now have room for 2 clients instead of 1, because you decrease the onboarding time in half. So all I'm saying is that improving efficiency is the biggest dial that you can turn when it comes to being more profitable and scaling your business from that perspective. Obviously, you need more leads coming in to scale, but with the current state of the situation and the state of your business, if you can increase your efficiency, then you are increasing the capacity of your business, and that automatically will transfer or translate into higher profits, right? So better boundaries, cleaner operations, higher margin clients, all that is what you need, not necessarily in the beginning, not necessarily more clients, even though obviously lead gen is super important. And I've been helping with, doing these 3 things, clients in the agency space, consulting space, freelancer, SaaS, and any service business. And basically the framework or the approach is the same. So if you're stuck at that, 10, 30-ish thousand bucks per month, then this is probably what I would focus on instead of looking at getting more clients, because this is kind of the tipping point. If you keep adding more clients, you will realize that you're just making your problem bigger. It's a little bit like as if you had a duct taped balloon and you were adding more air to it. It will expand and will finally, duct tape will let go and it will burst. And so, that's the focus. These are the 3 things I would focus on if you hired me right now. This is probably where I would start.